You know, when I was growing up, we used to think the most dangerous place on Earth was somewhere deep in a war zone, or maybe the middle of the ocean during a hurricane. But the truth, the real truth, is far more unsettling than that. There are places on this planet that don't need bombs or bullets to kill you. The ground itself will do it. The air will do it. The water will do it. Sometimes, even the silence will do it. Today, we're going to take a hard look at 6 of the most dangerous places on Earth. Not for thrill seekers, not for adrenaline junkies, but because understanding what makes our world truly terrifying also helps us understand just how remarkable it is that most of us wake up safe every single morning. Stay with me, because some of what I'm about to share, you will not forget. Number 6. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. The closest thing to hell on Earth. Let's start in northeastern Ethiopia, in a place called the Danakil Depression. Now, I want you to picture the most inhospitable environment you can imagine. Desert heat, volcanic rock, poisonous gas in the air, bubbling pools of acid so colorful they almost look beautiful, until you realize what they do to human skin in seconds. Danakil Depression sits 410 feet below sea level. It is one of the lowest and hottest places on the surface of this planet. Temperatures regularly reach 130 degrees Fahrenheit, not in a heat wave, on a normal day. But here's what really gets me. The ground here is actively volcanic. Lava lakes bubble openly. Hydrothermal vents blast gases into the air, hydrogen sulfide, sulfur dioxide, gases that can knock a person unconscious before they even realize something is wrong. And yet, there are people who have lived in this region for thousands of years. The Afar people. They mine salt from this earth, by hand, in that heat, every single day. If that doesn't give you perspective on human resilience, I don't know what will. Danakil Depression isn't just dangerous. It's a reminder that this planet was not designed with human comfort in mind. Number 5. Snake Island, Brazil. The one place the Brazilian government won't let you go. Off the coast of Sao Paulo, Brazil, about 90 miles out into the Atlantic, there's a small island called Ilha da Queimada Grande. Most people know it simply as Snake Island, and the Brazilian government has officially banned all civilian access to it. Not discouraged, not warned against, banned by law. Here's why. The island is home to an estimated 2,000 to 4,000 golden lancehead vipers, one of the most venomous snakes on the planet. By some estimates, there is one snake for every square meter of this island. The golden lancehead's venom is uniquely horrifying. It doesn't just kill you, it causes tissue death, internal bleeding, and organ failure. And it works fast. Faster than most antivenom can be administered, especially on a remote island with no medical facilities. There's an old story about the lighthouse keeper who once lived there. One night, snakes came through his window. His family tried to flee to their boat. They didn't make it. Now, that story may be legend, but here's what isn't legend. Only the Brazilian Navy and a handful of approved researchers are permitted on that island today, and even they go with doctors on standby. Snake Island is a place that doesn't want visitors, and it makes that very, very clear. Number 4. Bikini Atoll, Marshall Islands. Paradise built on a nuclear graveyard. I want you to look at this place for a moment. Crystal clear water, coral reefs, tropical fish in every color you can imagine, white sand, blue skies. Bikini Atoll looks like the kind of place you'd see on a travel magazine cover. And once, it was. But between 1946 and 1958, the United States conducted 23 nuclear weapons tests here. 23. The people who had lived on these islands for generations were relocated, told it would be temporary, told it was for the good of mankind. They never came back. One test in particular, Castle Bravo in 1954,
was so catastrophically miscalculated that it exploded with 15 megatons of force. Scientists had expected 6. It was the largest nuclear detonation in American history, and it contaminated surrounding islands, nearby fishing vessels, and spread radioactive fallout across thousands of miles of ocean. Today, the coral reefs are stunning. The fish are thriving. You can scuba dive among sunken World War II battleships. It's actually one of the most remarkable dive sites in the world. But don't eat the fish. Don't eat the coconuts. Don't drink the groundwater. Because the soil, and everything grown in it, is still contaminated with radioactive cesium, decades later. The Bikinian people were eventually allowed to return in the 1970s, until scientists discovered the radiation levels were still dangerously high. They were evacuated again. A paradise, poisoned by the very nation that promised to protect it.
Number 3. Lake Nyos, Cameroon. The night a lake killed 1,800 people in their sleep. This one is the one that genuinely haunts me. Lake Nyos sits in the highlands of northwestern Cameroon. It is a crater lake, formed in the collapsed cone of a dormant volcano. And on the evening of August 21st, 1986, the people in the surrounding villages went to sleep just like any other night. Farmers, families, children. And sometime in the night, without any earthquake, any storm, any warning whatsoever, Lake Nyos released a massive cloud of carbon dioxide, approximately 1.6 million tons of it, in minutes. Carbon dioxide is heavier than air. The cloud rolled down the hillsides silently, invisibly. It suffocated everything in its path: people, livestock, birds. 1,800 people died that night. Most were found exactly where they had been, in their beds, at their dinner tables, on the road. No burns, no injuries. They simply stopped breathing. This phenomenon is called a limnic eruption, when a deep volcanic lake becomes so saturated with dissolved CO2 that a disturbance triggers a sudden, massive release. Think of shaking a pressurized bottle of soda, but at a scale that can wipe out an entire valley. Scientists today are slowly pumping CO2 out of the lake through a series of pipes, trying to release it gradually, safely, before pressure builds again. But the lake is still there. The CO2 is still building, and the science is still imperfect. Some threats don't announce themselves. That's what makes them most dangerous of all. Number 2. North Sentinel Island, Andaman Sea. The last truly isolated people on Earth, and why they want it that way. In the Bay of Bengal, roughly 700 miles off the coast of mainland India, there is a small island covered in dense jungle. It has no roads, no ports, no electricity, no internet. And the people who live there, the Sentinelese, want absolutely nothing to do with the outside world. They have made this point repeatedly with spears and arrows. North Sentinel Island is one of the most restricted places on Earth. The Indian government has established a 3 nautical mile exclusion zone around it. Going inside that boundary is illegal, not just inadvisable, illegal. In 2006, 2 fishermen whose boat drifted near the island were killed. Their bodies could not be recovered. In 2018, a 26-year-old American missionary named John Allen Chow paid local fishermen to take him close to the island. He wanted to share his faith with the Sentinelese. He went ashore. He was killed. Now, here's what I think is important to understand, and this is something a lot of these stories miss. The Sentinelese are not simply violent. They are protecting themselves.
They have likely had contact with the outside world at some point in history, contact that brought disease, exploitation, or violence. They made a choice to be left alone. And honestly, given what the outside world has done to so many indigenous peoples, can you blame them? North Sentinel Island is dangerous, but the deeper story here is about respect. Some places and some people deserve to be left in peace. Number 1. The Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Ukraine. The day the atom turned against us. And now we come to number 1. And I debated this ranking because every place on this list is extraordinary in its own terrible way. But Chernobyl sits at number 1 for a reason that goes beyond radiation levels and exclusion zones. It sits at number 1 because it is a monument to what happens when human arrogance meets catastrophic consequence. April 26, 1986, 1:23 in the morning. Reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in what is now northern Ukraine, then part of the Soviet Union, exploded. Not a simple explosion, a nuclear explosion, the result of a flawed reactor design and a safety test gone horrifically wrong. The initial blast killed 2 workers immediately, but that was just the beginning. In the hours and days that followed, workers were sent in to manage the damage, many without adequate protective gear. They were not always told the truth about what they were being exposed to. Some of them received lethal doses of radiation within hours. They kept working. 134 workers and firefighters developed acute radiation syndrome. 28 died within the first few months. The nearby city of Pripyat, a modern Soviet city of 50,000 people, was evacuated 36 hours after the explosion. They were told to bring enough for 3 days. Most never returned. Today, nearly 4 decades later, Pripyat is still there. The Ferris wheel still stands in the amusement park that opened for exactly 1 day before the evacuation. Children's books are still open on desks in the school. Shoes are still lined up by doors in the apartment buildings.
The exclusion zone covers approximately 1,000 square miles. It will not be safe for full human habitation for an estimated 20,000 years. And here is the strange, beautiful, bittersweet footnote to all of this. In the absence of humans, nature came back. Wolves, brown bears, lynx, wild horses called Przewalskis, they roam freely through Chernobyl's forests now. The ecosystem has recovered in ways scientists didn't expect. The most radioactive disaster in human history accidentally became one of Europe's largest nature preserves. Chernobyl doesn't just tell us about the dangers of nuclear power. It tells us about secrecy and bureaucracy and the cost of not speaking truth to power. It tells us about the ordinary people, the miners, the firefighters, the helicopter pilots, who gave their lives to contain a disaster they didn't cause. And it tells us, quietly, powerfully, that this planet will outlast us, one way or another. So there they are, 6 of the most dangerous places on this earth. Danakil Depression, where the ground itself is hostile to life. Snake Island, where evolution has produced a predator with almost no equal. Bikini Atoll, where Cold War ambition left a permanent scar on paradise. Lake Nyos, where nature reminded us it can strike without a single sound. North Sentinel Island, where isolation is a choice and a boundary worth respecting. And Chernobyl, where the consequences of human error will echo for thousands of years. You know, I think about places like these and I realize, safety is not a given, it is a gift.
Most of us live our entire lives without facing anything remotely like what these locations represent. That's worth remembering. That's worth being grateful for. If you found this video thought-provoking, I'd love to hear which of these places stayed with you the most. Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. We put a lot of care into every video on this channel, and there's a lot more coming that I think you're going to appreciate. Take care of yourselves, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next one.